Let me tell you one thing I noticed in all his fights, other than Alex Oliveira fight, Niko is losing all his fights up until he wins. Against Tamiz, you remember Tamiz hurt him and he went in and got caught with the right hand and got knocked out. Jeff Neal, he hurt Jeff Neal, right? He hurt Jeff Neal, he knocked him down. And then Jeff took him down and ground and pounded him. James Vick on top of him, bro. Ground and pounded him. He threw an up kick. So it's like, you can only get so many wins like that, bro, when you come back and your opponent make a mistake.
Next up, we got Niko, the Hybrid Price. That's his nickname.
I didn't know that. Hybrid.
Me neither. Against Philip, the Fresh Prince Rowe.
And this got fight of the night written all over.
Man, it's got somebody gonna be going night. Man, we go look at Niko Price's record. His last few fights, well, he has had a tough outing, man. Vicente, Randy Brown, Abdul Razak Al Hassan, Tim Means, Jeff Neal, James Vick, Vicente again, Donald Cerrone, Michael Pereira. I mean, this is crazy.
Let me tell you one thing I noticed in all his fights, other than Alex Oliveira fight, Niko is losing all his fights up until he wins. Against Tamiz, you remember Tamiz hurt him and he went in and got caught with the right hand and got knocked out. Jeff Neal, he hurt Jeff Neal, right? He hurt Jeff Neal, he knocked him down. And then Jeff took him down and ground and pounded him. James Vick on top of him, bro. Ground and pounded him. He threw an up kick. So it's like, you can only get so many wins like that, bro, when you come back and your opponent make a mistake.
What possessed them to make the Michel Pereira fight after the Donald Cerrone fight? I was like, did we watch the same Donald Cerrone fight, or, match him up with Michelle after that? They threw him Alex, and, you're supposed to get that W. They throw you Alex when they want you to get back on track or whatever. So he's on a 1-fight win streak, and then on the other, I thought this was MMA, all these losses. I was like, can't be. But on the other side of that, we got Philip Rowe.
Hey, Philip Rowe, he kind of remind me of Neil Magny if Neil fought the way that he should be fighting.
It's weird though, man, because sometimes we get a Philip Rowe that's like impressive, and then we get one that's like, what's going on?
He don't have a bunch of bad performances.
Hey, but the Gabe Green one.
But Gabe, I don't know, Gabe able to neutralize everybody, man. He make them fight his type of fight. Because Gabe does that to a lot of people, man, where he just like, hold on, this person couldn't knock him out. Yeah, but I see what you're saying. He's 6'3", bro. He's reaches 80. He should be cleaning people up.
Against the Orion Kosi fight and Jason Witt, those were impressive fights. He was losing both of those fights until he came back in the second round. You know what's so odd is those fights have not aged well, because
Jason Witt has been knocked out like a million times and he got cut from the UFC. And Orion, he's
barely hanging on. Like
his ceiling is not the highest. He beat Blood Diamond, but Blood don't have any ground game, so that was an easy win for you. I'm gonna tell you one thing about Philip Rowe. He got knocked down against Leon Shabazian. I saw that fight, man. He came back and he smoked him and he embarrassed him, but he did get hurt though early on against Leon.
I think sometimes people come to the UFC or they get far in MMA because of their background, but they're not necessarily an experienced fighter yet. They don't have fighter heart. Because like in jiu-jitsu, you can have a grueling match. You're not getting hit in the face though. You're not getting kneed. You're not getting elbowed. It's grappling, which is still intense, but I mean, you throw punches and strikes into anything, it's gonna make it worse. But I think that Philip is starting to gain more confidence. But I'm sorry to say this, but beating Orion and beating Jason, even the worst Niko we've seen can beat both of those guys in one night.
But it's not his fault though that he hasn't fought tougher competition though.
I know, but
I think people are banking on his talent more than anything, because he hasn't really shown it against top competition.
But I think also with the Orion fight, these were kind of somebody got to win because we finna cut the weeds. That's what these type of fights were. But you beat people you were supposed to beat, but now this is going to be a completely different type of fighter. And I'm not saying Niko is top 10 or nothing like that, but Niko has been in there with a lot of good people. Half of them were wins, half of them were losses. Some of them were very impressive, some of them were very embarrassing. But
and he only lose to certain caliber opponent too, man.
Exactly.
And also Niko, sometimes he could fight kind of boring and get the job done. Like against Alex, just fought boring, takedowns. I'm gonna just win by any means. And the question is Philip Rowe on that level where Niko Price is? Because Niko, he's not losing to any and everybody. He's only losing to like a certain caliber of opponent. Is Philip Rowe in that caliber? Is this too big of a jump for Philip Rowe? Is this too big of a jump for Philip Rowe?
The only person who beat Niko Price, who was not in the top 10 or top 15, was one person. That was Abdul Razak Al Hassan. Truth of the matter with that is, that's a coin toss, because you never know what you're gonna get with Abdul. Now, obviously, his skill set ain't gonna never let him be top 10, but you either gonna be knocking him out or you're gonna be on the receiving end of a brutal knockout. But everybody else, Michelle, Vicente, Jeff, Vicente again, these are top 15 guys. Jeff is in the top 10, close to number 5. Vicente is top 10. Michelle was in the top 15. So he ain't losing to any and everybody, man. And Philip, man, he was losing those first few rounds. But one thing is, Niko has absorbed a lot of damage, and at the price of being an exciting fighter. And Niko looked a little bit slow and a little bit. It seemed like it's starting to catch up to him in the last few fights. Most notably for me was the Donald Cerrone fight, and I was just like,
I'm gonna be honest. I put money on that fight. Niko handed it to Donald. He handed it to Donald.
I'm saying, but even they both look.
Oh yeah, old and.
I'm saying I ain't saying he didn't win, but I'm saying they both look like they was punching in water or something a little bit.
And that's another thing is Niko has this thing where he just like he makes it a brawl unnecessarily sometimes, man. He take unnecessary like against Vicente, he took all that damage. Like, what are you doing, man? Like,
see, this fight, either Niko is gonna go out there
and take him down. Let's be real, man.
Take him down.
Cause we seen Philip Rowe taken down. That's really what he's susceptible to, man. Because Orion and them, they was taking him down and controlling him. I think that's Niko Price's path to victory.
Did either of them hurt him with hands?
I want to say...
I'm sorry, but him beating Jason Witt and Orion, those were good wins. I'm glad for those wins. But when I'm looking at hindsight, I know Orion got a W. He's hanging on, but Jason Witt, man, I mean, this win ain't aging the best. I just think Niko, if he got any type of power to hurt Philip, he might be able to get him out of there. But at the same time, sometimes it don't matter if these guys are UFC level or not. The fact that you was able to knock out 2 people in a row, I said everything I said, but I'm gonna have to pick Philip, man. I think Philip gonna figure out a way to get him out of there. I just feel like he gonna catch him on the feet or obviously on the ground. That would be very, very, very dangerous to go to the ground with Philip.
Bro, if Niko knocked down Jeff Neal, of all people.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it's true.
That was a long time ago. We ain't seen that Niko in a long time.
It's so weird because Niko, I think I might get laughed at for saying this. He got some of the most knockout power in the UFC.
Yeah.
I put him in the top 10. Honestly,
that's extreme.
Top Niko?
We would have to go down the list, man.
I definitely. Also, but he got some one punch. I told you gotta look at how people get knocked out and they be unconscious and they body twitching on the ground.
And he can knock people out in so many different ways.
Yeah.
Everybody can't do that. Everybody can't knock you out with the hands, the feet, up kicks, knees, elbow. Yeah. Everybody can't do that. But so I will give you that.
I think Philip, if he can clean up his striking a little bit to where he don't take a lot of damage, but more than we would like for him to take, and just he be more like a clean, crisp boxer type of style, I think it'd be hard for anybody to beat him.
But yeah, but I'm worried about that chin, and I'm worried about how do you respond to getting hit hard, because you finna get hit hard. That's what I'm concerned about. The talent and stuff is there. I'm not questioning that.
Yeah.
I'm worried about how you gonna respond.
I'm saying you're 6'3", man. Your reach is 80. You shouldn't be getting hit at all.
But you're gonna get hit at this level, and
yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Philip, man, just because I feel like he should be breaking through right now, and Niko might be kind of, I don't want to say going down, but
I don't think so. I think low key, other than Neal, I think Niko is another gatekeeper in the welterweight division, and I think Philip, the people who can beat Niko Price are like elite fighters. I think Philip is elite, and I think he's good enough to beat Niko.
You think Philip Rowe is elite?
I think
talent can be elite. Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, talent wise, I think because obviously we don't know because he hasn't fought nobody, but I think talent wise he's elite, and he hasn't really showed it yet. But I think he's gonna show it against Niko Price.